Welcome, foolish mortals, back to the channel, and welcome back to another board game video. We are now going over our list of advanced board games. Ones that we consider more advanced. Some people might not consider them as advanced, but they're ones that, from our minds, because we're probably more intermediate players. I'm a little intermediate advanced. You're more of the intermediate.
Yeah, the only one on this list that I actually like is this game. So.
Oh, okay. Is the one that we're going to go over.
Is the one we're going over. So that's kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, so the games on this list are ones that we would recommend for people who are a little older, like probably 14 and up, because there's a lot going on with them. There's a lot of strategy involved. There's a big learning curve to actually playing them, and so it's better for people who have more experience or who are older and don't have as hard of a time doing that. So before we get into these games, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, and make sure you leave us a like and a comment and let us know some of your favorite board games, because again, we would like to know. We would like some more board games to add to our shelf.
Yes, please.
So the game that we're actually going to explain is Anna's favorite game on this list, which is Munchkin.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with Munchkin is there are bajillions of expansions for this game. You'll have this base game, which this is the original base game for Munchkin. And then there's Munchkin Harry Potter, there's a Shakespeare Munchkin, we have the Munchkin Game Changers expansion that we got from, I think, my sister, as well as Munchkin 6, Demented Dungeons, which we got, I think that one's also from my sister. And in this base set that I have here, we also have Munchkin 2, Unnatural Acts, I think is what it was. And so we had that, which I think was also from my sister. But there's, with the regular Munchkin set, there was all the way through Munchkin 9 or 10. No, it was 12. There's also Zombie Munchkin. There's another one. There's Marvel. I think there's a Marvel one. There's a Ninja Turtles one, I think.
Yeah.
There's a Disney one.
There's tons, and
all sorts.
The best part is you can smash them all together.
Oh yeah,
they all play together.
Yeah, you can take all of them and just shuffle it. There's 2 decks in this. There's a treasure deck and a door deck. And you can take all of the door cards from every single expansion that they've ever released, and you can mix them all together in a deck that's, this big. And you can play it that way.
Yes.
It'd get really ridiculous and probably take a while. I don't know. Because of this thing, how it works, it might not take too long.
But
apparently with Killer Bunnies and the Quest for the Magic Carrot, you can do the same thing. You can mix them all together. Brian said that they did that. And he ended up with a deck of cards about that big. But he said it then took hours for them to get through it. So... and then I actually ended up getting the Munchkin Deluxe originally as well, which came with a little board, which was nice and pretty. And then it also has Epic Munchkin on the back, which goes up to 20. The idea of this game was to be a spoof on Dungeons & Dragons. That was the entire idea of Steve Jackson making this. I've actually watched a video of Will Wheaton on his tabletop game, his tabletop videos on YouTube, where he played this game with Steve Jackson, the guy that created this game, and it was hilarious. So the whole idea is that you start out at level 1 because you're a level 1 character, and you are trying to get to level 10. You have to be the first one to get to level 10. That's how you win. How you do that is by using your cards. So you'll have your door deck, and you have a treasure deck. So with the door deck, and you'll be dealt cards out of, you get 3 treasure cards and 6 door cards or something like that when you start the game. And you'll have things like there's, the curse of lose a level. There's another curse. There's baby, which is -5 to a monster. And you can do things that'll change your, give you a class or a race or things like that, that'll give you different things. So on your turn, you would kick down the door, which means you would take your door card and you would flip it over. And if it was a monster, let's see if I can find one. There we go. So if it's a monster card, like this level 1 drooling slime, it's a level 1, and you are a level 1, which means that you would be tied. No one would be winning. You would have to play a card to strengthen yourself in order to beat this monster. And then at the bottom it says 1 treasure down here, really tiny at the bottom that you can't see. So if you defeat this monster, you would draw 1 treasure card, which can be, apparently that one's Blake. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. Which is like a fake beard. And those will sometimes be good, sometimes not so good. You can also sell them. But this level 1 drooling slime can also be boosted by the other people playing the game screwing you over and adding power to this guy.
Yeah.
That has happened before when we were playing with Ron. The two of you kept boosting things, so like this guy, Unspeakably Awful Indescribable Horror, is a level 14. So if you're like a level 5 and you're like, oh, but I have these 2 cards that'll boost me up just enough to beat it, but then one of these 2 yahoos is like, no, it's now a freaking 20. Then you get beaten and you have to go down a level.
Would never.
You always. But yeah, that's kind of the basic idea of this game. But there's monster cards, there's armor cards, there's weapon cards, there's curse cards, there's
just a lot.
Cards upon cards.
And that's why we rated this as advanced, is there's just a lot of stuff to do.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot that you have to pay attention to. There's a lot that there's a lot.
You're also trying to kick down the doors and you're battling those monsters and doing those things, but then you also have to watch out for everybody around you.
Yes, and you can also make alliances. Like, you can bribe people. Say if like a strong monster, like if you were to defeat it, you're gonna get 4 treasure cards. Then if you aren't strong enough to beat it, you can then ask somebody, like I can ask Anna, hey, can you help me defeat this monster? If you help me defeat this monster, I'll give you 3 out of the 4 treasure cards, or 2 out of the 4 treasure cards, or something like that. And then Anna can be like, yeah, okay, I'll help you beat it. Or they can also, haggle with you and be like, no, I want 3 treasure cards, not 2. And you can like haggle back and forth. And so then, if you make an agreement, then you can go, okay, now we're both beating this monster. But then Ron can still be like, nope, 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 which has happened also.
Yes, it has.
And so like there's a lot of strategy that goes into this. The actual age range it shows on here is 10 and up. I mean, you could. Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult.
Especially if you're playing with the absolute base, I think you could.
Yes, yeah, with the absolute base with nothing but that, you definitely could. If you're playing like just the Harry Potter version or something like that, or just the base version, regular version, then yeah, 10 and up would probably be pretty good. But as soon as you start adding more stuff in there, more strategy comes into it, different things start happening, it gets too much.
Yes.
But you have to have at least 3 people to play this, 3 to 6 players. And it will take you between 1 and 2 hours. I think that's actually probably fair. Mm-hmm. That's pretty close.
Yes.
But this is actually, it's really fun. We've only ever played it once with Ron. Mm-hmm. Well, I've played it twice because I played it with Alexis. But
I've also played it outside of you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's really fun. It is a really good like kind of party game. If you have like 6 people, it's really good because you can like strategize with like multiple people, and you have multiple people trying to stab each other in the back, and like it's really fun.
And it's just a goofy game too. It's not
super
serious,
goofy.
And so that's part of the other benefit of it.
Yeah, and so it's a really good game. But again, it is rated on our advanced list because it's got a lot going on. It's a little difficult. It's got a really high learning curve. So that's the only one we wanted to kind of explain. But we have another 4 of them that I wanted to mention. One is the Big Book of Madness, which is a lot of fun. It's a cooperative game. And so that makes it a little bit easier, but it is really difficult. There's a lot going on with that. It's a high learning curve. I played it with Megan by myself, and then played it again when she came down the next time. Anna played it with us. And there was a lot going on. It was a little hard to figure out.
Yeah.
We started to figure it out at the end.
Yeah.
But there's just so much going on. There's so much you can do. So many different choices to make, and there's a lot of things.
There's definitely a lot.
Yeah. So Big Book of Madness is a great game, but it is an advanced game. And then Dominion, which is this guy back here, that is a deck building game. That's the first deck building game I ever got. Actually, we have a couple of them. That's the first deck building game I got. And it's one of the first games that I played with you when we were just by ourselves.
Like I said, I don't even remember playing this game. So.
Yeah, this was back when I was still living with our friend Brian. We were living in an apartment together. But that one is, again, it's a deck building game, but with deck building games, there's so much going on with them. There's so many different choices to make that it makes them more advanced. It's probably a little bit kind of in between intermediate and advanced, but I put it on the advanced one because it makes more sense to put it on the advanced one because there's just so much going on. And Dominion has, I don't know how many expansions. There's a lot of them. Not quite as many as Munchkin, but there's actually quite a few of them. But that is on our advanced list as well. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we have Elder Sign. That one is nuts. There is so much going on with that game. And that's a fun game because you can play solo. You can literally just sit down, set up the game, and just play it by yourself. And I have done that a few times. I don't think I've actually played that with anybody. I think I've only ever played it by myself.
I was gonna say,
I've never played it with you.
I've never played it, so.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and the idea is, like, it's a H.P. Lovecraft type horror thing. So there's, like, the giant ethereal monsters, like Cthulhu is one of the monsters. And essentially you are trying to gain elder signs. You're trying to collect elder signs to keep these ethereal monsters from breaking out of the ethereal realm and destroying everything. And so you're going through into these different rooms and completing tasks in order to keep them from doing that. But there's so much that goes on in that game. There's tons of little itty bitty tokens. You have to figure out what everything does. You have to, there's 3 different types of dice that you have to roll, and it gets really nuts. And so that one is definitely an advanced game. It's fun. I enjoy playing. Again, I've only played it by myself, but it's fun. But it's also really difficult. And then lastly on here we have Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, which is another kind of deck building game. And it was pretty fun. Yeah. But again, much like Dominion, it's got quite a high learning curve.
Yeah,
and that one's fun because there's actually a story that goes along with it. Mm-hmm. So there's different sets of cards for each year that you would be at Hogwarts. And that actually made it kind of fun. I think we played through the first 2 years with Ron, I think was all we did. And so, but it's just, again, like at most deck building games, there's just a lot going on with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strategy that has to go into it, and it was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And even with Ron, who is another kind of seasoned tabletop game player like we were having a difficult time figuring out what was going on and how to strategize. And so it was definitely an advanced game.
Definitely.
But so yeah, out of the games that we have, those are pretty much all of our more advanced ones. Mm-hmm. There's probably a couple that could be considered kind of advanced, but they're ones that, maybe we don't play as much or we just didn't feel the need to put on this list. So.
Mm-hmm. We've played other games that we would probably consider advanced, but we don't have them, so.
Right.
Yeah, there's been a few that that I've played with other people, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. And, as we get, more board games and stuff, now that our shifts have changed, we're getting paid more and things like that, so we'll be able to start buying more board games. And as we get new board games, we'll do kind of some videos going over different, maybe.
We got these Kickstarter
fixing
games.
our list. Yeah.
We got these Kickstarter games coming. We've got to do some.
Yep. So yeah, we might spend some time kind of adjusting our lists a little bit, maybe adding to them or something like that. So we'll just kind of have to see how that goes.
When we get new games, we can rank them. We can put them into one of the 3 tiers.
Oh, yeah.
We
can put them into starter, intermediate, event. Yeah. We could totally do that. We'll just kind of do a little mini review of it after we play it, and then
we can
give it our ranking.
Put it into one of the 3.
Yeah, we can totally do that. So, that is it for our advanced tabletop games. Again, these games are really meant for people who have been doing it for a while. Who know what they're doing. It's nothing crazy like one of those giant games with all the miniatures that takes you, 4 hours to play through a single game. Those nutso games. I played one of those once. I got really tired. So, yeah, that's it for us for this. Hopefully, once we get our setup kind of cleaned up, and then again, hopefully after this lockdown pandemic thing ends, then we can start actually making videos with some of our friends playing some of these board games.
I was gonna say
that was one of our intentions at the beginning of our channel. We actually mentioned wanting to do something like that, but then the pandemic happened and we haven't been able to.
I was gonna say we've spent time with our friends once this whole year.
Yes.
this whole
Yep, twice.
year.
Twice. One board game night
that's
and then the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one board game night and then the Taylor and Victor's wedding.
We've had 2 board game nights.
Have you had 2 board game nights?
Ron's place and then at Pete's place.
Oh, we did have one at Ron's place. I forgot about that. That was way towards the beginning of it.
Yeah, that was before the pandemic.
That was in like February.
That was before the pandemic.
Yep. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get together with some friends and play this, and hopefully we can clean up our setup here, and Anna and I can just sit down and play a game sometime.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Couple of these games.
Yeah, so you can kind of see how some of these games work, some of our favorite games. So, anyway, thank you all for joining us this week, and we hope to see you all again next week. But until then, don't forget
to thank the Phoenicians.